Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest roadmap for Train Sim World 5. Here is everything you need to know, complete dissection of the roadmap, along with yours truly's personal insight. So, yeah, it has been a bit since I've, done a YouTube video. I've been heading to the UK from Japan, getting over jet lag, that sort of thing. So, yeah, so let's get right started. If you want to have a look, there you go. Just screenshot that. So earlier this morning, they just posted like a joke roadmap for April Fool's Day, which thankfully they have updated. Right, starting off Frankfurt S-Bahn. So we've got lines, if you don't remember, we've got lines S1, S8, and S9 of the S-Bahn Rhein-Main network going from Frankfurt am Main Hauptbahnhof to Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. They have now added a little route extension, so now it goes to the Frankfurt Flughafen long distance train station, and now we can so now we'll be able to take the ICE-T, which does require the Kinzigtalbahn Frankfurt to Fulda route, by the way. We can take it from Frankfurt down along here to Frankfurt Flughafen and then to Wiesbaden, which is pretty cool. So not only will have the S-Bahn services to run, we'll also have some ICE services to run, but only if have the Kinzigtalbahn. So also, you might have noticed that's a new train. That is the DBBR 430, which is a new train to TSW. It has an average of one ICE every 9 minutes, which is great. Which is crazy. So it's long distance trains, but it's quite a rapid service thingy. I can't think of the word. So you'll be able to drive ICE 3 services to Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof, which requires Kassel to Würzburg, ICE 1 service between Frankfurt and Mainz, which requires Kassel to Würzburg, ICE T services from Frankfurt to Wiesbaden via the airport in Mainz, which requires the Kinzigtalbahn Frankfurt to Fulda route, intercity services, which presumably means we might get to use the BR101, both the old Dovetail version and the expert one from Trains in Germany, and then S-Bahn services that in 2018 used to enter the station. This route is set in 2018. The route is set prior to the opening of Frankfurt Gateway Gardens. Original airport, we get to go over original airport approach. S1 takes a more direct westerly route. S1 and S9 share an alternate path. So yeah, here's the BR430, as mentioned previously. It's one of the newest trains on the line. It's been there, so at the time this route is set, it's only about 3 years old. It's the replace the BR420. You'll hear about that in a minute. 9 trains an hour in each direction. As part of the April Fool's roadmap, they said all trains would be painted pink from now on. There's the BR430 in pink. Never thought I'd see it, really. So yeah, and also here's the interior. It's a pretty standard German metro train, if I'm being honest. I'm not too excited for it. Then also we'll have the BR423, which we've already had a couple of times. I think it was originally introduced with... what is it? The Duisburg to Bochum route. Man, that goes a while back. Then it was recycled with the Kinzigtalbahn. It was recycled as a gameplay pack for Cologne to Aachen, and now it's getting recycled again. Hopefully they do the correct interior for the S-Bahn Rhein-Main. Then also we'll have regional stuff with the BR143 and Dostos, which honestly the recycling of that is not even funny, because the Dostos, we still don't have the version where the doors are over the bogies. Ugh, Dostos again, like come on, Dovetail, please. We'll also have AI traffic. I don't think we'll have any freight stuff. which is a bit sad because I would love to drive the Vectron on this route, but maybe I could just do it in free roam, I suppose. So then we have new screenshots of the BR420 from Trains in Germany. The add-on which they've probably spent like 4 years developing. I think it was originally announced like in 2021 as a pack for München to Augsburg, and that never happened. The München to Augsburg version will still be included, but it will be mainly for the Frankfurt-S-Bahn route. So here we go. Here's a new screenshot with the detail. Trains of Germany knocking it out of the park with the details as per usual. Look at that weathering. Woo! So it's going to be modernized. It's a modernized 8 Series 420 with swinging doors, digital display with speedometer, LZB, PZB. Wait, LZB? Oh, no AFB. That's annoying. So we won't have cruise control, but yeah. That brake handle looks very similar to the one on the BR628 from the Niedertalbahn, which means I imagine it'll be a similar pain in the rear end to brake. Lovely. Yeah. So very nice interior, I must say. It's going to be. It's originally from the early 70s. Wow. Nowadays it's all but retired, of course. I don't even know if any are preserved. The BR420 will have its own timetable, which swaps out the 430 for the 420. The 420 will also be usable on Munich to Augsburg, but in free roam and scenario planner only. It won't integrate into the timetable, which is a major disappointment. And I imagine that is because Dovetail is not willing to do any work on Munich to Augsburg, which is like, come on, please. But Frankfurt S-Bahn and the 420 will be released on Generation 9 consoles and PC only. No Generation 8 stuff. Right, then we also have the ECML Diesel Rail Tour Pack from Athena Simulations, which I'm not interested in, but which is releasing this week, which will be a rehashed version of the Class 47, namely 47484 Eisenbahn Kingdom Brunel, with custom modeled Mark 1 stock in the BR blue and grey livery, with 4 different variants that are both air and vacuum braked. Pretty cool. One thing that DC 4260 Productions pointed out that I hadn't thought of, Eisenbahn Kingdom, this route is set in in not too distant past, like 1 or 2 years ago. Eisenbahn Kingdom Brunel has been retired, stored, whatever you like to call it, for like 20 years now. Why Peterborough to Doncaster? Why not like a 90s route or 80s or 90s route then? Also packaged with it will be the Class 40 and 45 for Northern Transpennine and BR Heavy Freight Pack, which you won't require either of those add-ons to run them. As 10 scenarios, full list of routes impacted are ECML, Great Western Express, but only the Diesel Legends timetable, Cathcart Circle, East Coastway, Northern Transpennine, West Cornwall Local, West Somerset Railway. Releases this week, April 3rd, for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Epic, and Steam for £11.99, €13.99, or $13.99. Which, I would, if you want this, fine. That you can, to each their own. But even if you would, £11.99 seems a bit steep. So just wait for a sale. That's what. Preview postponed. They were hoping to do it. Hoping to do a preview following the roadmap live stream, but they've had to postpone it due to unforeseen circumstances. Lovely. Right. New pack from Train Sim Germany. Right. 2 new locos, the BR194 and E94 088. New passenger coach, new freight wagon, new 1984 scenario timetable and scenarios for Link Rheinstrecke, and new scenarios for Walisische Ludwigsbahn. So there's a lot to take in, so here's a breakdown of everything you could expect. BR194, which is an 80s version original E94. You might recognize this locomotive. It was bundled, it was originally sold as the OBB, what is it? OBB Crocodile. I can't remember it. The model designation. But yeah, it was originally in OBB Blood Orange livery. This I'm pretty excited about. So what we get, BR194, which is 80s version, an E94 088, which is a Rail Tour version, a modern day Rail Tour version, which is pretty cool. We both get an original and a Rail Tour version. Like, come on, that's so cool. A B4YG passenger coach, which I assume is this thing. Looks rather similar to the N-Wagen, but also very different. New GBS freight wagon, which I assume is this thing. ES50 freight wagon, which we already got with the Niddertalbahn. It was originally used to haul sugar beets on that route, and then the reprise of the FALNS wagon in DBB livery. Gameplay. New 1984 timetable for Link Rheinstrecke. For full experience requires layers from Mittenwaldbahn, the BR218, and the Niddertalbahn. Wait a minute. Why are we getting the 218 on Link in the 1984 timetable? I think we are getting an older version of the 218. Like, yes, come on, I love the 218. We're getting an older version of the 218, I think. That's awesome. 2 scenarios on Walisische Ludwigsbahn Mannheim to Kaiserslautern for E94 088, which is the Rail Tour locomotive. 2 scenarios on Link Rheinstrecke for the BR194, which is the old version. And then E94 Rail Tour used in various upcoming timetables. So this thing will layer into upcoming routes. Yes! Look, there's the 111 for the Mittenwaldbahn, along with the Silberlinger N-Wagens. I was on Link Rheinstrecke the other day, and I noticed an Innsbruck to Dortmund service that was being hauled by the 110, and I was like, I've driven that service on the Mittenwaldbahn. And I was like, why didn't it get included in Link Rheinstrecke? Now I know. That's pretty cool. The BR103 will be able to haul the Rheingold coaches off of the Mittenwaldbahn. That's pretty cool. The TSG team also wanted to highlight the differences between the 2 models. Oh, it's the OBB 1020. That's what it was. You're probably all yelling at your screens. So yeah, here's the visual difference. So here's the original OBB 1020 model. Very familiar. And then here is the E94 locomotive. So it looks relatively similar. This panel here looks new. This stuff down here, like, it's subtle, but there are a lot of differences. Kudos to the Trains in Germany team. Here's the entire list of changes. Air system modifications include a weaker compressor, differing air tank capacity and locations within the system, and non-centralized brake frame. Goods passenger valves and triple valves are located on the bogies instead of the machine room, for example. Train brake valves are now NOR NR10 manually lapped brake valves instead of the Oerlikon FV4 self-lapping valves. If they hadn't said that, I'd have never have noticed. Because I'm not really a person who's like into the technical details. We have the Indusi I-54 system instead of the I-60, which is functionally the same, but there's no ability to change modes. Much more utilitarian cab, which I already pointed out. Different pantographs and control system. As modeled, we only have a single contact strip on each pantograph, so both pantographs have to be raised. The 1020, you only need one pantograph, so this will require both to be raised in order to get the power necessary. The control of the main circuit breaker in pantographs is done by a single valve in each cab, with an air valve in the number 1 cab to select which pantograph is to be used. There is always a hand pump to be used to raise the pantograph in the event of there being no main reservoir pressure to raise it, and then to allow the main compressor to run. Wait a minute, we can raise the pantograph using a hand pump. That's pretty cool. Different lamp systems, instead of being built into the vehicle's body, are semi-permanent lamps with red filter levers on the side to change the aspect. Various cosmetic changes, including changes to the vents, removal of the snowplows, roofline changes, cab windows, underframes, bonnets, and more. Changes to the overload system, requiring the driver to go into the machine room to reset in the event of an overload being tripped. Weaker electric brake comparative to how the 1020 was before the last update, if not marginally weaker, and of course green paint. And many more. Whoa. That is, like, you can tell Trains of Germany have absolutely done their research. That is crazy. And also, that's a good thing. If you have Link Rheinstrecke and don't want to pay for the Mittenwaldbahn, you could just get this, because I'm sure it'll be cheaper than just getting a whole route. So yeah, here's the interior of the passenger coach. Nice, looks very good. And then here's a screenshot of the E94 hauling some freight wagons, which looks pretty good. Right, now we're heading back to Wales. Announcing the Transport for Wales Pacer from Just Trains. Yes, we have a new Just Trains product. So basically, this is going to be for the Cardiff City Network route. So it's going to be a reprise of the Pacer that originally appeared with Blackpool branches. The Pacer was used extensively in the UK, and specifically by Arriva Trains Wales in Wales. These Arriva DMUs were taken over by TfW, Transport for Wales, in October 2018. Our Pacer features the transition livery, where the Arriva names and logos were removed, and the TfW branding was placed over the basic underlying Arriva livery. That's pretty cool. So instead of having a bog standard TfW livery, they've included something which is a bit more rare, a bit more interesting. There are going to be 2 versions of this, one with no TfW branding at all, and the other with the TfW large side length, which reads, "The start of a new journey" banner art proclaiming the transition to TfW operations. As with many trains, there are many changes and variations throughout their lives, and we have incorporated them into the Pacer to make it time period correct. Aside from debranding, this version has LED headlights, 4 leaf doors replaced with 2 leaf bifold doors, updated door close operating buttons, sanding equipment fitted, the smash glass to access emergency door handle, which is non-operational, it's just visually modeled, and on the roof are the NRN, National Radio Network, and GSMR, Global System for Mobile for Railways, antennas. Right. And then here we get some more pictures. Yeah, okay. So some people might be cross that it's just a reprise of the Pacer. They have done their homework, and I think this is going to be superb. Just Trains and Trains of Germany, thank you so much. The Crocodile and the Pacer are 2 of my favorite trains of the game, and to have 2 new versions coming soon is actually pretty exciting. Next up, Santa Fe gameplay pack from High Iron Simulations. Got a couple of new images. Oh man, that old Santa Fe branding, that looks pretty cool. High Iron says, "We are conducting initial in-game testing to refine the operational characteristics of these 2 featured locomotives. Santa Fe's War Bonnet General Electric C40-8W, which is this thing, and the blue and yellow Electromotive XD40-2, which is that thing, as well as the included freight rolling stock for a realistic experience. Also testing out the Santa Fe and Union Pacific timetable layers, which are based on actual AT&SF and Union Pacific freight schedules of the early 90s. That's pretty good. They have respect for the source material. While subject to modification, the timetables are expected to include more than 250 train movements per 24-hour period, with an accurate representation of intermodal, manifest, unit train, and local operations. The Union Pacific layer will use equipment from the Sherman Hill route, which was given away for free a few months back, so that's pretty good. In development too are the scenarios which will be included in the DLC and which will provide a range of challenging and unique operating experiences. Okay. One thing I should point out, neither the C40 or the SD40 are new to Train Sim World. The SD40 especially has been recycled quite a bit. However, if this is reasonably priced, despite my general aversion to American freight stuff, I might consider picking it up. I already have Cajon Pass. So yeah, I do like the whole Cajon Pass in the 90s aesthetic that they're trying to go for. However, High Iron Simulations has a very, shall we say, checkered reputation when it comes to add-on releases back in Train Sim Classic, so I just hope that they don't ruin it. Then also we have an update on Cargo Line Volume 3 from Skyhook Games, which will have a yet another rehash of the Class 66 in DB, not Deutsche Bahn, red and grey, as well as a brand new FCA intermodal spine wagon in an EWS maroon livery, which it will have gameplay for London Euston to Milton Keynes and Peterborough to Doncaster, which are probably two of the worst British routes of the game. Journey mode and 3 scenarios for both routes and timetable services. Free roam information designer compatible. Bit of history on the wagons themselves. Now in final stages of testing. Mild mainline post-release updates and future improvements. It's been a month. Blah, blah. Corporate speak. Actively investigating passenger spawn issues and blurry texture problems, and these fixes are top priority. Right. From seeing all the feedback and support, I'm now looking into an extension between Stratford and Richmond. Which would include new stations and track. The extension will be a free update for all owners of the line. Yeah. It's a pretty cool DLC. However, it does have some pretty massive issues. The suspension, for one thing, is way too powerful. It just bounces the train up and down like it's going over a washboard. Then also there's been some blurry texture issues. I appreciate that we're getting Stratford to Richmond. Now all we need is the confirmation that we get Stratford to Clapham Junction, and we'll have the entire North London line. And now we have All Aboard Studios, a new third-party developer. I'm always glad to see new third parties. All Aboard Studios. Their team has been behind a variety of releases on Train Sim World and Train Sim Classic. Okay, so they say right off the bat that they're developing something British. They're developing British stuff. Fine. Bring something new. Small teaser. Wait a minute. Okay. So this is what they're working on. If anyone knows where that is. It looks... That staircase behind looks a bit modern, and then these pillars look very weathered. Maybe some kind of commuter line? I don't know. It's hard. I can't tell. Patches and updates. So this is what the This is what the patches we had are. Blah, blah, we already know them. New mastery posters. Here we go. That's what they are. I must say, I do like the Wembley one. I do like the Wembley one quite a bit. April monthly mastery is now live. Originally, they said you had to complete 15 million scenarios. Okay, so we have to complete 15 scenarios, that's timetables, drive 200 miles, find 50 collectibles, and walk 5 miles. For an experienced player, that's not actually that bad. Community Spotlight. Oh, Tiger Ways has been creating a comprehensive list of tutorials and video guides, which is available on their website. Nice. Train Sim World 5 is coming to NVIDIA GeForce Now, which is their cloud gaming thing. They'll let us know when it's been released. There's the roadmap stream. And then, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that's everything you need to know. Honestly, the two things I'm probably most excited for that we got. The BR194 and E94 pack from Train Sim Germany for like Rheinstrecke, and then also the Pacer, the Transport for Wales Pacer, I'm probably most excited for. And then the one, other than that, probably the Frankfurt S-Bahn, then the BR420, the Class 86, the Tadami line is the one I'm most excited for by far, because I've lived in Japan for almost 11 years. Finally have a Japanese route in the game is really a dream come true. And then also I'm excited for GWE Remaster and Konta Arc Time to Update. So yeah, let me know what you think of all this down in the comments. What is your favorite part of the roadmap? And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye and thanks for watching.